What is going on, everyone? Jimmo back in the booth, and today we're going to be spraying this Mazda CX-6, I believe they call it. We're going to be putting some sealer down to start, and then we're going to be painting that hood, the front bumper, and then we're going to be blending that color into the fenders. We're going to be doing all of this with the Eastwood Concours LT100. I'll leave a link in the description to that gun. It's a pretty cool gun. I've been using quite a bit more lately, and I've been cranking out quite a few nice jobs with it. And this gun is priced at under $100. It's one of the very few guns I've been using in that price range. So for people starting out looking for something to get them started, just to show you, it's capable of doing some pretty amazing paint jobs. I've used for sealer, base, clear, and it's turned out some really nice work. So we've got the sealer down. So the sealer has just helped us with the coverage as well. It's tinted, well, it's the bright shade of the gray, which is going to give our base coat better coverage. So if this was like a black or a white, it's not going to let our blue cover quite the same way and give us the proper color that we wanted within 2 coats anyway. So it might have taken 3 or 4, who knows, or we might not have got the right color at the end of all of it. So we're gonna anyway get started with our base here. We're gonna give it a quick tack off. We'll just rub over the entire thing with the tack rag, and I'm using the BASF B110 tack rag. I like the low tack, the less sticky tack rags. I find to be the best. I've had some where they'll actually mark the surface, and I don't like that. So we're going to start off, we'll put our color right into the fender to begin, and we'll just go over the entire hood. So we want to have a nice consistent overlap. We want to keep that gun squared up to that hood so it's not angled at all. We're not ending up with heavier product in one area, and that's going to prevent any striping and just help everything go down nice and smooth. So if you end up with striping to begin with, you can possibly correct it with some effect coats, some drier coats from a higher distance, but once you start striping it, it can be very difficult to correct. So you really want to try and avoid it right from the start. Now we're also going to put a bit of paint right at the front edge of these fenders, and that's because we have a bumper that's going to be going on there that we're painting at the same time, and that'll ensure that we have a correct match to the front end, because as we know, colors do not always match. Well, they never actually match 100%. They're always going to be a little bit off, whether you can tell or not. This particular color, I think I had about 6 or 7 different variances to choose from. I had picked one that looks really, really close, but in certain lights it may not match 100%. So this is the second coat going down, and that's about 5 to 10 minutes of flash time in between. You can use some air blowers with the waterborne to help flash it off quicker. Depends on the shape of the blowers is usually what I do. So it depends on the paint booth I'm in and if I have access to good blowers or not. Since I'm not permanently stationed at any particular shop, I don't really have my own dedicated drying equipment, but in the event that I did have a good blower, I would use it to help speed things off. And once it's dried off really well, we're going to go ahead and then apply our effect coat. So that's just going to even out the metallics a little bit better. Everything's already gone down pretty consistently, but it's also going to get the color to the correct position. So we'll just pull back our distance a bit, and you can see that it's going to open up our fan pattern, and we're going to cover more area with this type of pass. And we're going to do that to the bumper as well, because that's going to shift all of the colors to the correct position. If we were to maybe do that to the effect, sorry, let's try that again. If we were to put the effect coat only on the car and not the bumper, what would potentially happen is we would have a lighter looking fender and a darker looking bumper. So this is going to give us more consistency with the color between the vehicle and the part. So now we're going to apply our clear coat. We've let everything flash off for about 10 minutes after our last coat. And here we go. We've got, again, the Eastwood Concours is doing all of the work for us here. And I believe I've been running this thing around 20 PSI. Another cool thing about this gun, which is great for all the people following that like to do this kind of work at home, is that it operates at a lower PSI and requires a lower CFM, which means that you can operate this gun with smaller compressors than you might need on the SATAs and the Developus and your typical guns that I've shown require bigger compressors and a more consistent air supply. So this gun is kind of designed for people that don't have access to huge spraying compressors. And if you check out maybe the Eastwood website, they probably actually have some compressors that they'd recommend to be paired with this gun. So maybe one of the future videos I'll explore that a little further, but for now I'm just going to stay in the comfort of my booth with my steady air supply. So here's the second coat going on. We're going to give it again another 5 to 10 minutes, depends on the temperature and hardener choice. So on a job like this, I will typically use an all-around clear, and I'll probably go about 50-50 between my normal and my fast hardener choice. So I think a fast hardener on a front end is usually a little too fast, and sometimes the normal reducer is a little too normal, a little too slow. So if you cocktail the two together, which is an approved procedure in most paint lines, so make sure that's the case with whatever you're using, but that's what works for me with this one. And they've actually launched some hardeners that are basically just that. It's a cocktail of the fast and normal ones. So anyway, it's all going to vary depending on your clear choice as well. So I'm just kind of giving you a rough guideline here. Usually experience with that product is going to help you understand the choice a lot better than me telling you which one to use here. So it depends on the clear, depends which hardener you're going to use. So there we have it, another beautiful job off the gun in the books, and we'll get this back to the body man to assemble. It will be out the door soon, and I'm sure they'll be very happy with this one. So thanks as always for watching. Let me know your thoughts below. Make sure you leave me a comment, hit the sub button, the bell, all the normal things, and thanks for your support, and we will see you next time.